Let's go to page 457. This is lesson 7.4, and this lesson is about spatial right triangles. So over here it says a 45 degree, 90 degree triangle is an isosceles right triangle that can be formed by cutting a square in half as shown. So you start with a square, okay, and you cut in half. So that because a square, so all four sides are congruent, so when you cut, these two sides still congruent, therefore you got isosceles right triangle. So here's the theorem. It says in a 45 degree, 90 degree triangle, the hypotenuse is square root times as long as each leg. So hypotenuse equal to square root of 2 times the leg. Okay. And the reason for that is if you were to, so if you have a square, okay, and you call the length of 1 on each side, okay, and then you cut in half, and this would be, let's call this x, okay? And so to use your Pythagorean theorem, right, you're going to get 1 square plus 1 square equal to x squared, right? And so when you simplify, so you got 1 plus 1 equal to x squared, and you got 2 equal to x squared. You take the square root, so x equal to square root of 2, okay? Okay, so notice that this is square root of 2 times that, right? Now what happens if you just use, what happens if you call this x and this is x? What will this equal to, right? So again, x equal to any number, right? So again, to get find hypotenuse, and I'm going to just call that, okay, that's going to call this as, let's call it y, okay? So again, so hypotenuse, so you're going to get x squared plus x squared, right? A squared plus b squared equal to c squared, right? So again, you're going to get x squared plus x squared equal to y squared. Okay, then you're going to get 2x squared equal to y squared, right? Then you take the square root, so y equal to square root of 2x squared, okay? And then again, the square can cancel out, so you're going to get x times square root of 2, okay? So this will equal to x times square root of 2. So see the ratio? This is always going to be square root of 2 times as long as the side. So whatever this is, you times by square root of 2 to get that. If this came from Pythagorean theorem, right? So that means, let's say if you have a right triangle and you cut, okay, all this is a square, right? So what happens if this is like a 5, okay? Well, to get this, all you have to do is times by square root of 2. So this would be 5 square root of 2, okay? Now what happens if this is 50? Well, it would be just 50, square root of 2, right? Okay, so whatever this is, you times by square root of 2 to get to the hypotenuse. And vice versa, going backward. If you know this, to go backward, you just divide by square root of 2, right? So let's say if you have a square, okay, and you cut in half, right? What happens if this is like a 3 square root of 2, okay? What would be each side equal to? So to go backward, you divide by square root of 2, so it would be 3 and 3, okay? So make sure you know this theorem. This is super important, okay? Okay, now, okay, so let's go to example 1, okay? It says find the hypotenuse length in 45 degree triangle. So find the length of hypotenuse, okay? So again, this is a 45. If this is 45, this would be 45, right? So remember what we just covered, right? To go from leg to hypotenuse is times by square root of 2. So the answer would be 8 square root of 2. See that? Okay? Now from here, again, from here to here, from the leg to hypotenuse, you have to times by square root of 2. So times this by square root of 2, this, so when you multiply, okay, you're going to get 3 square root of 2, you have to times by square root of 2, right? So this will give you a 2, so answer will be 3 times 2, and so this will equal to 6, okay? And that's how you get the answer right over here, okay? See that? Okay, so you need to know how to go forward and backward, okay? And over here, same thing, okay? Over here on page 458, example 2, Okay, so from here you go backward, right? So answer would be 5, 5, right? See, answer would be 5. So super easy. Okay, so from here, triangle WXY is a right triangle and it's 45. Okay, find the length of WX. Okay, just times by square root of 2, right? So 25. So answer would be B. Okay, right? It's very simple if you know the theorem. Okay. Now that's another special triangle. Okay, so what we did with the triangle is we have a square. So notice they're all congruent sides, right? You cut in half, so we get a 45, 45, right? So we do that, we get 45, 45, right? Okay, now there's another special triangle. Okay, what happens if you start out with an equilateral triangle? Okay, so again, you have to start with a regular polygons. Okay, all sides have to be equal. Okay, so if you would, and I'm going to call each side equal to 2. Okay, so when you cut in half, then this would be equal to 1, 1, right? Okay, and so if this is 60 degrees, this would be 30 degrees. So that is your 30, 60, 90 special triangle. Okay, so now what would this equal to? Okay, well, let's go and use Pythagorean theorem. Okay, so I'm going to call this x. You know what? Yeah, let's call it x. Okay, so you're going to get 1 square, okay, plus x squared equal to the 2 square, right? So a squared plus b squared equal to c squared. Okay, and you work it out, so you got 1 plus x squared equal to 4, minus 1 on each side, so you got x squared equal to 3. Take the square root, so x equal to square root of 3. So this equal to square root of 3. Okay. Okay, so this is your special relationship. Okay, everything's all based on the the short leg. Okay, so the relationship between this is always twice as that, because why? Because remember, you start with all 3 sides equal to 2, right? And you cut in half, that's how you get 1. So this is always half of that, okay? Because this is half of that, okay? And so that's what you need to remember. And the long leg is always square root of 3 times the short leg. So if it's 1, this would be square root of 3. If it's 10, this would be 10 square root of 3, and this would be 20, okay? So you need to know the relationship between them, okay? And also notice there's kind of an interesting pattern. Let's say if you arrange the triangle in a certain way. Okay, so let's say if you have this, and this is 45 degrees, right? So this would be 1, 1, square root of 2, right? And if you arrange the triangle this way, so this is 60 degrees, 30 degrees, right? So this is 1, 2. Again, this is half of this came from cutting the triangle, right? Okay. So, and this would be square root of 3, right? Okay. Again, this is cutting from the equilateral triangle. That's why this is half of that. Okay. Because this came from half, right? See over here. So this is 2, 1, 1, 2, right? Okay. So that's where it came from. So that's why this is 1/2 of that. Okay. Again, once you understand where this came from, you will know that this is half of that. Okay. Now that's an interesting pattern, because if you notice, 1 is equal to square root of 1, right? 1 is square root of 1. 2 is equal to square root of 4. So you can see square root of 1, square root of 2, square root of 3, square root of 4. So that's a kind of just interesting pattern. Okay. Okay, so again, square root of 1, square root of 2, square root of 3, square root of 4, if you arrange it this way, okay? And but make sure you know these 2 special triangles. These are super, super important, okay? And from there, you can, you're going to use that a lot to solve a lot of problems, okay? Okay. So let's go to finding the length of the equilateral triangle, okay? So it says the logo on the recycled bin at the right resemble an equilateral triangle with a side length of 6. Okay. Okay. So over here, so again, it's a triangle, and so we're talking about this little triangle inside right over here. Okay. So you have this triangle equilateral triangle. Okay, so again, that's what we're talking about right over here. You start with a right triangle, okay, and each side of 6. So again, you start with a right triangle, equilateral triangle, which each side equal to 6, and so you cut this in half, so you get 3 and 3, right? Okay, and then what is the approximate height of the logo? Well, height, remember, from short to long, you times by square root of 3, right? So the height will equal to 3, square root of 3, and use your calculator, you get 5.2, okay? Now over here, again, find the length in a 30, 60, 90 triangle, okay? So again, the key is always go back to the short leg, okay? So from long to short, you have to divide. Okay, so again, remember this over here. From short to long, you multiply by square root of 3. So the key to remember is when you're going to get longer, you have to multiply. When you're going to get shorter, you have to divide. Okay, right? Again, common sense, right? Okay. So you're going to go from long to short. How you know this is long? Well, it's facing the big angle, right? So this is facing the 60, so facing the bigger angle, that's how you know this is long leg, and this is facing 30, that's how you know this is short leg, okay? And this is facing the right angle, this is always hypotenuse, okay? So go from long leg to short leg, you have to divide. Again, if you're going to go shorter, you have to divide. If you're going to go longer, you multiply. Okay, so over here, so from here, so x will equal to 9 divided by square root of 3, okay? And to simplify, okay, so you have to simplify to the simplest radical form. So to simplify, you have to multiply by square root of 3, square root of 3, right? Because you cannot have a square root on the bottom. So this will become a 3, okay? And then you cancel it out. So x will equal to 3 square root of 3, okay? And so that's how you do that, okay? Okay, so again, from long leg to short leg, you divide. From short leg to long leg, you multiply, okay? Because you multiply to get bigger, right? Okay, now, okay, find a height, okay, dump truck. The body of the dump truck is raised to empty load of a load of sand. How high is the 14-foot body from the frame when it's tilted upward at a given angle at 45 degrees? And okay, so over here, so the 14-foot body is the hypotenuse. Okay, that's a body 14. Okay, so when you tilt at 45 degree, okay, so for this one, so that's going to do the 45. Okay. Okay, so the body is 14 foot, and you want to find out the height when it's 45 degrees. Okay. So again, remember from here you multiply by square root of 2, right? So make sure you know these, right? Okay. So from the leg to hypotenuse, you multiply by square root of 2, and when you go backward, you have to divide by square root of 2. Okay. So the leg over here, the height. So the height will equal to 14 divided by square root of 2. Okay, again, you go from here to here to divide by square root of 2. And to simplify, you multiply by square root of 2, square root of 2. So h will equal to 14 square root of 2 over 2, right? Because 2 radicals make an integer. And then this will equal to 7 square root of 2. Now, yeah, and then you can use your calculator. Okay, so this is exact answer. And if you use calculator, okay, it will equal to about 9.9. And the label would be feet. Okay, so don't forget your label, right? Okay? Now, if it tilt up at 60 degrees, okay, so again, this is 14 feet. Okay, so it tilt up at 60 degrees. Okay, and what will be the height? So this one, okay, again, first you always go to the short leg. Always get to the short leg, because that's like your foundation. So 14, this would be 7, right? Because again, this came from equilateral triangle. So 14, 14, 14, half that is 7. Okay, and this would be equal to 7 square root of 3. Okay. So again, see that? So So h will equal to, so h will equal 7 square root of 3. And use your calculator. Okay, so h equal to 7 square root of 3 will be approximately equal to, use your calculator, with 12.1. And again, don't forget your label. It's very important. Okay. And so